Welcome. Welcome musicians, teachers, guests, fans of beautiful music. We are in for a treat, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm sure you're already aware.
I was planning to come next year as well.
Oh, are you? Twice in a lifetime if you return. We are so pleased, we're so grateful to have Ben Zander, maestro, world-renowned, globally acclaimed conductor, teacher, inspirer of musicians, young and old, to lead a master class session this afternoon. Ben, thank you for coming. We're honored that you're here. Maestro Zander and we will hear 4 wonderful pieces this afternoon. And following each piece, he will give constructive feedback to the performers, and we will get to listen, eavesdrop. Ben began composing at the age of 9, and he has played and conducted globally for 7 decades, and made unparalleled contributions to developing music in the lives of young people especially. That's why we're so excited to have him here. These sessions and the interactions that he will have with our young players are like gold. And so again, Ben, we thank you for coming. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm an Oakville Suzuki parent since 2009, and I will be the master of ceremonies this afternoon. There is a group behind me, though, that is ready to play. And I think, by many accounts, one of the greatest finales ever written, the 4th movement of Beethoven's 5th Symphony. Meredith Gingrich is conducting the Oakville Symphony Youth Orchestra, and they will lead off this afternoon. Let's welcome them before they play.
Meredith, I'm going to stop you because the piece is very, very long. Let's have some applause, please, for this. Right. Great. So first of all, I want to tell you about Gene. I've just met Gene, and it turns out we played in the same youth orchestra when we were children. It's amazing. And that was eons ago in the previous century. And it's just amazing, Gene, to be with you. We're both cellists. I was 12, she was 16. And we go back, and we know all the same people. You realize that if you play in a youth orchestra, you will be friends for life. You will know each other. You will meet. She's in her late 80s. I'm 80, and we discovered each other and we played together. We have the same coaches and the same conductors, and it's really amazing. So this youth orchestra is like a disease. It'll be with you forever. You won't ever, and you'll never forget her. Right? You'll never forget, because we remember every conductor we played under, every piece we played, and that it's amazing, isn't it, really? Because I was 12 when I went into that orchestra, and I'm 80 now. So it's very, very exciting to realize, just to be in the presence of a youth orchestra. I know what's going to happen to you, and I know the experiences you're going to have. So let me tell you a funny story, and then I'll explain what I'm going to try and do here. I don't know if you've ever heard of Odessa, Texas. Has anybody heard of Odessa, Texas? There's a small town in Texas, an oil town, and they decided they wanted to win the championship football for Texas, which was ridiculous because, you know, there's Dallas and what are the other towns in Texas, all those towns, Houston and everything. But they actually did it. They pulled it off. And it was such an amazing story. They made a television show called Friday Night Lights about that town. You saw it, right? Isn't that amazing? And then one day they decided they wanted to do the same with the symphony orchestra. So they called me up and they said, would I come down to Odessa and coach this orchestra? And the end of the story is that they won the state championships. But what I did when I went down there was I didn't coach the orchestra, I coached the conductor. And this conductor, it was a very, very moving thing actually, because this conductor was so focused on winning the competition that he was driving the players like crazy and making them play well like this. And what he forgot was his love of the music. And what got restored was the love of music. So Meredith, if you're willing, I'm going to, in front of your wonderful charges, make some suggestions to you, because in the end, everything comes from the conductor. All the decisions really come, even the sound comes from the conductor. It's funny to say that, because they're playing their instruments, but actually, in a way, the sound comes from your baton. So if I may just make a few suggestions, I'm going to take my coat off for this, okay, because this is serious business here. So the first thing is that Beethoven wrote something very interesting. It's written in 4, not in 2. Almost everybody conducts it in 2. But if it's felt in 4, it's more massive. There's something else that he did, was he left a metronome mark, and it's slower than you're doing it, interestingly enough. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So had you noticed that? Because most people say Beethoven's metronome marks are all too fast, because he was deaf, so he couldn't see the metronome, and so, you know, they're crazy. But I really believe in his metronome marks. Yeah, 84. Yeah. So it's a wonderful tempo. And if you do it in 4, there's a massiveness, a grandeur, a power that doesn't happen if you're doing it in 2. So can I suggest we start at the beginning and think it in 4? And since Beethoven lent me his metronome, I have it here. I just recorded the 9th Symphony of Beethoven in London with the Philharmonia Orchestra, and Beethoven was up in the balcony. He was in the balcony looking down on me as I was conducting, and every now and again he'd go like this. And at the end, when we finished, he went like that. Okay, I'll give you a copy of the recording. Okay, now, 84, this is Beethoven. Bum, bim, bum, bum, bum. Isn't it amazing? It's actually quite slow, isn't that amazing? So let's try that. I'm going to get my glasses and then I'll be able to see something. Just a moment. Okay, so let's do that. First thing I want to say, the trombones have been waiting for 150 years to play. All right? This is the moment, because all the symphonies of Haydn and all the symphonies of Mozart and Beethoven 1 and Beethoven 2 and Beethoven 3 and Beethoven 4 and then the first movement and the second movement and the third movement and they play the trombones. They've been waiting all that time. So really, let's make the trombones huge. Can we just hear the trombones at the beginning? 1, 2, 3, and I always say, if somebody makes a mistake, I always say, how fascinating. So that was how fascinating. Once again, there should be 3 trombones at the moment. We only have 2. 1. Right. Feel the massiveness of to, ti, ti. 1, 2, 3. Ti, 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 beep, beep, ba, ba, beep, beep. Oh, that's pretty impressive. See if the rest of the orchestra can match that. Are you ready? Ready, trombones? You're leading the charge. 2, 3, and. Isn't that amazing? It's already massive and powerful, and that's the most joyful sound that exists in the history of music. That sound, what we just heard. All right. So I would suggest hom, pim, pim, bum, pim. Let's do it together. Everybody together from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, and. Now, I'm actually feeling 4 beats in the bar, and you're doing it in 2.
Yeah.
When I do it in 2, look what happens to the sound. It goes away. Do it again from the beginning. I'll do it in 2. That's the reason why everybody plays it faster, because they think it sounds so bland that way. But if you do it in 4, it doesn't feel at all bland. So you don't need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you do something, look what I do. I don't do 1, 2, 3, 4. I do something that suggests 4. Do play again. And isn't that great?
Yeah.
So get that sound. It's a massive sound, like. Right. Okay, here we go. No, you don't even look like the last movement of Beethoven 5. People have to know exactly, right, exactly, and you're built perfectly for the task, because this is a big piece, big piece. So with a massive sound, here we go together. Now, every note in music either goes somewhere or comes from somewhere. So every moment the conductor has to decide where is it going. And at the beginning, it seems dum, bum, be, you expect it to go up. But it actually comes from there, from the first note. So it's ba, da, dee. That doesn't mean that the second bar is less. It means that it grows from the first bar. So it takes terrific intelligence, because actually you're doing something counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Because most people say dum, bum, be, because that's simple. It goes up, but it actually wah, dee, da. Then the next heavy bar is bum, 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 be. So just try that with that shape. And if you tell the orchestra the shape, you don't need to, but if you tell them, they'll make it even more clear, because they feel the 1. 1, 2, 3, and. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's as good as that can sound. Now, the next thing is dum-ba-da, dum-ba-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dee, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dee, and the third one, because things are always built in threes. Okay, going from the beginning, and let's exaggerate those shapes. 1, 2, 3. Applause, please. Very good. Very good. Now, the conductor must never look as though he or she is in the bull ring, in the boxing ring with Muhammad Ali. You always have to be in control and slightly detached. And at the moment, there's so much of this that they get confused. They don't know what to follow. Okay. So keep the economy of your body such that they only see what they need. That sounds like an advertisement or something, but anyway, they only see what they need to make the shape. Okay. That means sometimes you don't conduct at all. Let me show you how little you can conduct. Can we just try from the beginning? 3. You're giving them is what they absolutely need, nothing else. They'll play great the rest of the time. Beautiful. Do it again. Can I say one thing to you? When you conduct, you're thinking about yourself and what you're going to do. I would recommend that you think only about what they're going to do, because you're silent. They are the ones who make the sound. Mm-hmm. So your job is to waken them to everything that the music requires. So rather than look as though you're inside your head, before you begin, okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? And like that, right? Yeah. So it's about them, always about them. Okay. That's true in life generally. Always pay attention to the other person. That's true in a marriage too. Too much. Great, but it was great what you did. It was perfect. And then you did too much. Yeah. You know, one of the biggest things about being a conductor is trusting the orchestra, loving the orchestra. I know you love them, but trust them. Trust them. They'll play wonderfully. You don't have to hit them over the head all the time. Say, play beautifully. No, you don't need to do that. Once again, we'll do it together. 3. Funny, Beethoven loves to upset things. Yeah. And those sforzandos are upsetting the whole apple cart. Because, do you know the Marriage of Figaro, the opera, the Marriage of Figaro? The opera of Marriage of Figaro, at the beginning of the opera, Figaro is measuring the bedroom they're going to be in because they're going to get married. And he's very excited because it's huge. Susanna says, "You idiot. The reason he's given us this huge bedroom is it's right next to his quarters, so he can get access to me." Figaro takes no notice, goes on measuring. And when he finally gets it, he sings a song. And he sings, "Se vol ballare, signor Contino." If you want to dance, Mr. Count, se vol ballare, signor Contino, il chitarrino io suonerò. I'm going to play the guitar, my friend, if you want to dance. Il chitarrino io suonerò, sì! Io suonerò, sì! And he shouts on the second beat of the bar. You can't do that in a minuet because se vol ballare, it's elegant, it's aristocratic, it's got to be everything right. And suddenly, for the first time, there's a sforzando on the second beat, and that caused the French Revolution. Well, not quite, but you see what I mean? That's the sforzando. It's almost more than you can bear. Right? Should we do that? Okay. You're doing great. It sounds beautiful. One more time from the beginning, and always play it as if it's the last time you'll ever play anything. Because you never know. Suddenly the roof crash and you're, maybe the last time. Okay, here we go. And think to yourself, I always do this before I conduct, I always say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and rah! Okay? There are 1,000 things to conducting, thousands of things, but you're looking always at the same place. But
look there,
don't just look. You've got the whole orchestra. Everybody needs you. Particularly the second violins need you. I saw a sign once out of shoe shop in Spain. It said Alvarez, shoemaker, and then underneath it said, "and lessons in second violin." So make them feel totally important, all right, once again. Coming alive. It's beautiful. The cellos and basses, unfortunately absent, have a wonderful, important bar there. Just play ba, pa, 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 pi, pa, from the G, the cellos. 3. Good cello playing. Very, very good. The trouble is it's never heard because the timpani playing is "listen to me," and the trumpets are playing "listen to me." Nobody cares about you guys. All we care about is that. Now, Beethoven wrote forte for everybody. He assumed people would adjust because they're smart people. And if they see ba 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 ba, probably they realize it's not the melody.
Yep.
All right. Okay. But nowadays we have to point that out. So tell those guys to shut up and look at the look at the cellos as if their life depends on it, and it does. Okay, so let's do it. You're doing fabulous. I mean, the whole thing has come alive. It's joyful. There isn't one person in the room who's not excited at the moment. Not one person has fallen asleep.
Well,
all right? Because this music is so exciting. It's so exhilarating. I give talks about possibility in corporate situations. I just spoke last week for 2,200 corporate CEOs in Copenhagen. What did I end with? This! right? This music on the loudspeakers, as loud as the speakers could take it, but it wasn't as exciting as what's going on here. Isn't that great? People have the little hairs at the back of their neck. You know, when I attacked you, I didn't mean it personally. You understand? In a way, I did. I'm just working on behalf of Beethoven. That's what he's saying. He's undermining the status quo, the hierarchy, the way we always do things. He's shaking his fist at the world. Should we try it one more time? Imagine it's the last time you'll ever play it. Ready? And when we get to the cello thing, make sure that everybody hears the cellos. All right, here we go. Bum, 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 bum. It had power, it had majesty, had intensity, had clarity, had everything you could want. Now put direction into it, it'll be perfect. So the C, the beginning, ta-ya-dee, ba-dee-dee, that takes terrific tension here in order to do that. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, and... That always somebody comes in early. So the thing is, you're doing great. You're doing really, it's exhausting actually, isn't it? Being a conductor. For one thing, it's physically exhausting, but it's also mentally exhausting because they are thinking you are the brain for the whole group. And so you want every single person to feel exactly the way you feel about it. And that means you can't stare at one place and you can't just conduct. Right? It always says, and then the third time. So you have to speak to them as if you were telling a story, which they then will tell the audience. But it's hugely improved already. And I'm a very patient person, so I'd like to go back to the beginning and do it one more time. And each time we do it, each time, I do something very rash, but I recommend it. I put a white sheet of paper on the stand of every musician in every orchestra I conduct. Professional orchestra, world-famous orchestras, children's orchestra, everything. And the invitation of the white sheet is to tell me whatever they want to tell me. And I ask them only one thing, sign your name. And I get all sorts of fantastic information, coaching from them about what works for them, what doesn't work. And I've actually, that's how I learned to conduct, was from seeing how effective that was. And you know how you know whether it's effective? Their eyes are shining. When their eyes are shining, you know it's working. If the eyes are not shining, I say, who am I being? We can do that with our children too. Who am I being that my children's eyes are not shining? Who am I being that my people in my company's eyes are not shining? But it always comes down to our responsibility. Right, should we do it one more time?
Sure.
Let's do it. And let's see what happens. Now, we have to think and think and think and think. All right? And don't look at one place. Look at, this is your whole family. All right, ready? We'll do it together. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's be sure that they do it together. If they don't play together, whose fault is it?
Mine.
Right, great, thank you. That's true of all you CEOs out there. If it's not going well in your company, it's your problem. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. One of the characteristics of Beethoven is the violent contrast of very loud music and very soft music. And it can't be done with the same gestures. They simply don't pay attention. So you have to do something totally different. If they're not paying attention, whose fault is it? Right, great. So do something. Diddly-dum, diddly-dum, diddly-da.
Okay.
Right, they'll pay
No, yeah,
attention.
okay.
But if you go diddly-dum, diddly-dum, diddly-da, diddly-dum, what difference does it make? That's why orchestra players get so cynical, because they get disappointed all the time. It's not that they're cynical, they're passionate, but they've been disappointed too often, and so they get cynical. That's what cynicism is. So get their passion going through your own. So let's just do from just before that, biddly-dum, biddly-dum, you know what I mean? That was great. Did you hear the cellos? Wasn't that great? They didn't even have the basses. Imagine how that would sound with 6 bass players underneath them. Oh, it would be great. But what I love about your cellos is they're very, very energetic. And they will play their hearts out. But if they're drowned, there's nothing you can do about it. So let's go from how would it be from somewhere here? Well, maybe from there. Can you find that place? A, perfect. A very good place to go. No. You want those horns to be massive and grand, so you've got to do some gesture which encourages them to play. Is that what they're playing? Yeah, exactly. Clarinets, bassoons, and the horns. Oh, this is such a great moment. Let's have it. Now, that's the way. You have to, it's extremes, absolute extremes. I love you. You're lucky to have her. Probably we should stop. Should we stop? What's that? We have to stop. Who wants to stop? No, nobody wants to stop. Well done, all of you. And here's the thing. Meredith brings you incredible passion, commitment, love, engagement, force, all of those things. And what we added today was a dimension of clarity and thinking. And you can help. You can help this process, definitely, by your playing. And also, I don't know if you want to do it, I've done it for years, white sheets.
I like that
It's
idea.
the way to grow. Because we conductors and teachers generally tend to blame people when it doesn't go the way we want it to go. And you're not alone. Teachers do that generally. And in professional orchestras, the conductors often blame the players when the conductors may. Do you think they're taking in the players?
No.
No, not for a moment. They know. So this is a joint effort where everybody gets involved. And I look around, I see a lot of shining eyes. All right, shining eyes, shining eyes, shining eyes everywhere. That's all that counts, is the engagement and the love and the passion of the people we're working with. And you're working with some of the greatest music ever written. Well done, and thank you for what you're doing. Great.